As we start to show off every day, Big Sills! Where truth, justice, and the Big Sills way lives. Where you're not going to hear fanboy. Holy cow! It was a full day of fanboy in Philly. Yay! Give me my cell phone. Howie, thank you. Even though your defense still is horseshit. Thank you, Howie. Hey, by the way, I didn't know running back in 23 was a problem for your team. Get the fuck out of here. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Hey, answer the question. In 2023, was running back a problem? You had a Pro Bowler. You had a Pro Bowler. Okay? Oh, I love it. LJ goes, louder, Sills. That's because some of you ass bags can't hear or stand the truth. I'm trying to let it resonate. You know? Because most of you are stupid as a rock when it comes to shit. I just telling Xander, what happened to Philly, man? Dude, here. The more I'm looking at this Bryce Huff move, the more it sucks. And Xander and John McMullen are right. According to Pro Football Focus and Bledsoe, Bryce Huff's the worst run-stopping defensive end in the NFL last year. So, he's the worst run-stopping football player in the NFL last year. And you signed him to $17 million. And here, wait a minute here. Okay. So is this right? You're going to take a $17 million football player off the field every 2 plays? Is that right? So first and second down, he's off the field? And you're paying $17 million for that? Is he a backup? Did the Eagles pay $17 million for a backup? Let me ask you this. Hey, it's not just everyone knows this. He's the worst run-stopping edge rusher. So, I'll ask you one more time. Oh, by the way, you're welcome. And of course, some of the people get half the story right. I heard Xander's boy Bill say that Sill said that Derrick Henry was going to the Cowboys. Not true. I said that the Cowboys and the Ravens were making a push to sign Derrick Henry. And the Ravens signed him. Boom! How you doing? By the way, who's your money on when it comes to the top rusher between Barkley and Henry? My money's on Derrick Henry. The Ravens have the third best O-line in pro football. You just lost Jason Kelce. Ooh, yeah! And you got him cheaper. And you're playing with the MVP. How you doing? How you doing? Derrick Henry's going to be more productive, as he always is. And he was on a shitty team last year, too. And still at 1,200 yards. How you doing? Woo! Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers signed Patrick Queen. 3 years, $41 million. Over. Hey, you guys are up Schitt's Creek. Who are you signing now on defense? You have not made your team better. You made your offense better. We're going to talk more about this. Oh, my God. This gets better and better. Patrick Queen is now officially on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Holy shit. So this, am I right when I say this? Hold on here, Xander. So the Steelers, they signed Patrick Queen and they signed Russell Wilson? Okay. Can you say AFC title game? Wow. Mike Tomlin. There you go, baby. Mike Tomlin, good for him. I love that guy. There's a coach in the NFL. By the way, Tennessee sucked so bad last year. Mike Vrabel got fired. And the year before, he was the NFL Coach of the Year. Woo! The Steelers were in the playoffs with a dude named Mason Rudolph. And one of the best defenses. So now you got Patrick Queen, Hayward, and you have TJ Watt. Okay. How you doing? Hey, get this. The Eagles have none of those players on that side of the ball. None. Zero. Hey, congratulations to the New York Giants. They now have the best pass rushing threesome in the NFC East, and Kayvon Thibodeau, Lawrence, and now Brian Burns. At least they're getting their defense better. Their offense may blow out loud, but at least they got their defense better. And they gave him the biggest deal in the history of the National Football League when it came to edge rushers. Woo! Look at that. Look at look at the Steelers doing something out of the box, something that they don't do. They don't believe in free agency. They believe in player development. But what they don't want to do, they got these players for Mike Tomlin. They don't want Mike to go away, man. So they're tooling the team up for him again. Absolutely. And the Eagles signed DeMarco Barkley. Holy cow. By the way, I heard people, and I heard Bill, what's his name? Colangelo earlier today talking about the money. Well, once again, there's people that don't understand. The resources of the money could have been put on the other side of the ball. It's not that Barkley cost you an arm and a leg. It's that that's not where the money needed to go. The money needed to go on the defensive side of the ball. It's not that Barkley was, again, overpaid or underpaid. I don't give a shit about that. I care that you signed another, what was that thing today? A C? Who was the linebacker from the Saints? A complete nobody. You signed a nobody and a guy you're going to take off the field every 2 plays because he can't play the run and he's atrocious playing the run. Here. The Giants have the best pass rushing now, front 7 in the NFC East. You don't. Your defense was destroyed at the end of the year, and you haven't addressed it. You addressed it with a dude who's a backup. You addressed it with a backup. Hang on. Is he going to start? Every time I see Bryce Huff starting, I'm going to run the ball at him. Free agency just started. Okay? Well, who have you addressed on your defense? Are you making a trade for Patrick Surtain? Okay. That's the only thing you could do now because all the marquee players are gone. Gone. Just like your defense and your 2024 defensives. That team ain't finishing in the top 15. They're going to try to address it cheaply once again in bullshit moves and in the draft. Congratulations to you. You've done nothing. And you're shopping 2 of your better players, and you kept an old guy. And you have no depth. Woo, doggy. How you doing? Here, let's get into it. Let me ask you this. All you DeMarco Barkley lovers. The Eagles, have they improved their football team? No, hey, you know what? I did. But when you look at it, I started thinking you're taking the guy off the field every 2 plays. Is that worth $17 million? Have you improved your football team? I'm asking, hey, Joe, have you improved your football team? Have you improved your football team? Yes or no? Steve says yes. How did you improve your football team? You mean you improved your offense, right? Right, Steve? You haven't improved your defense. You improved your offense, right? By taking money you could have used to put it over there on the other side of the ball. Why didn't you take that $17 million and give it to Patrick Queen? Because the Eagles don't value the linebacker, and you're having Nakobe Dean and Zach Cunningham. There is no question about it. Those are your starters in Brazil. And they'll draft a guy because it's cheaper. They're so predictable. Garbage signs on defense. Not really taking an emphasis on it. That defense is not improved. If anything, with Fletcher Cox gone, it's less. Oh, Steve goes, now Queen is overrated. Then what are your guys? They're garbage cans. If Patrick Queen is overrated, what's Zach Cunningham and Nakobe broken down Balsawood Dean? What is he? What could you possibly think? He costs too much. You see what Steve's doing? It costs too much. So the Eagles paid for a backup at $17 million. Right? Dude, he's a good pass rusher. Absolutely. But now you have two guys who can't play the run. Trash can linebackers for the 100th year in a row. Nah, I wouldn't say that. But Nick, sound like Big Sills. Okay? He's a good player, but not elite. You don't have a good player. Steve, you don't have a good player on linebacker now. You don't have a good linebacker. I'll say this about Huff. He's a really good pass rusher. And you get taken by those numbers, but when you start really looking at it, they're going to have to take him off the field like the Jets did. 2 of the 3 downs. Is that worth 7? Hey, would I like to have Bryce Huff in my nickel in my pass rushing defensive front? Yes. But is that worth $17 million that he plays 1 down every sequence of 3 downs? He can't play on 1st and 2nd down. Is that worth it? So you got Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, and now Bryce Huff, who can't play the run. And you're better. Where? It's only the 2nd day. Well, who are you going to sign now? You want to know? I'll tell you what. One thing that the Eagles are not. They're not as pathetic, at least, as the Carolina Panthers. So in the last 2 years, the Carolina Panthers have dealt Christian McCaffrey and Brian Burns. And not one of those players brought back a first-rounder to them after they made that ridiculous move to go up to 1 to get Bryce Young a year ago. Carolina has to be the worst-run organization in all of pro football. Has to be the worst. So you didn't get 1 first-rounder. 1 first-rounder. Okay? For Brian Burns and for McCaffrey. The Dean will have a breakout year. Of course he will. You kidding me, man? No, you mean he'll have another broken down year. Okay? We are better. No, Bruce. Hey, you got your offense better with the greatness of DeMarco Barkley. Holy shit, I guarantee you Derrick Henry runs circles around that guy this year. Derrick Henry's going to gain nearly $2,000. And you know what your guy's going to gain? A third of that. Oh, wait, a third of that. So you're going to give, hey, wait, for him to be productive and for him to live up to the highest paid or second highest paid running back, you got to give him the ball 25 times. AJ's going to be awful mad at that. AJ Owens will be screaming and doing push-ups in the driveway by midseason. He'll be doing push-ups by midseason. Isn't it funny? 49ers in Kansas City don't do shit. They just re-signed Chris Jones, and the Niners just sit there and go, we're good at every position. We're good. Barkley and a backup end for $17 million. Look at the money you're spending, not wisely. Why don't you get this? All you had to do was pay an extra what? $6 million for Brian Burns, and you could have got him for a 2 and a 5? How does that not make sense? A 25-year-old defensive end who's now the highest paid guy in the league. How do you not make a move for that when you didn't have to give up your first round? Am I right when I say that, Xander? The Giants gave a 2 and a 5 for him? And you paid a guy $7 million less who can't play every down. I'm confused there with that. If you were really committed to building your defense, you'd have signed Burns. You'd have signed Burns. Whoa! Got that offense cooking. You better beat teams 50-0 or 50-49 because that defense is still a sieve. You didn't get your football team better. You got your offense better at the expense again of the defense. And you signed a backup player. Again, he is a good pass rusher, one of the better ones. But when you really dissect it, he really is ranked the worst edge rushing, run stopping defensive end in pro football. Is that here? It's not that he's not a good player. Is that worth $17 million, knowing full well of the 3 downs, 2 of them he's not on the field? I mean, how are you not happy? Well, because you haven't addressed the defense, really. You haven't. You have not. You signed a guy who's a backup to big money, and you signed, I don't know, a dude from New Orleans. Don't tell me his name. I don't care. I don't care. It's a C- sign, that linebacker. It's a body sign. Okay. Hey, wait a minute. See what Rose says? Dude, I've been a Sileo fan, but the switch on Huff overnight shows you nothing but a shot. That's not Roast. I went back and I did more research on him. I just told you that. You want me to stick there and tell you he's a complete player? He's not. And you paid $17 million. I mean, that's called going back and doing your look at him and your work on him. What's wrong with that? Haven't you ever gone back and looked at something a second time and went, I don't know, man. He can't play the run. Oh, wait. Everyone loves the sign now. When I say, hey, if you go look at how he is not even on the Jets, everyone now knows he plays half the snaps. He actually plays less than half the snaps because he's atrocious on the run. That's who he is. That's not an opinion. Is that worth 17 million bucks? Once again, I'll tell you. Hey, would you like to have him on your team? Yeah. At 17 per, he's not a starter. Bryce Huff's not a starter. Every time that guy steps on the field, if I'm an offensive coordinator, I'm going to run the ball at him. He's a liability. They need depth at 17 million. You signed a backup for 17 million bucks. That's my point. Whoa. Now let me get over to the DeMarco Barkley thing. Once again, Barkley makes your offense better. Sure, but I didn't know the running back position was a problem in Philly. You had a Pro Bowl last year. You had a Pro Bowler. That was a problem? Has the running back position the last 2 years in Philly been a problem? The year before that, Miles Sanders had almost 1,300 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns. This last year, you had another guy with 1,000 yards and about 8 touchdowns. The running back has been a problem in Philly the last 2 years. How about your defensive linebackers and your corner play and your safety play have been a nightmare? Since when has that been a problem? And get this, Swift's not a power back. That's because you stopped running Hurts. Hurts has been your best running back the last 2 years. This last year, you stopped running him. That's why your red zone offense blew. Whoa. So you're back to running the ball. You ain't gonna have 2,000-yard receivers this year. No. That's completely out because you have to justify that money. Let me put it to you this way. If you give Saquon Barkley the ball 5 times in a game just to appease those wideouts, and he gets you 35 yards a game, and this guy has nowhere near 700 yards rushing, how do you justify $13 million? How do you justify that? You signed a decoy to $13 million? See, when you pay people, you have to play people. It's a waste of money. See, there's only one football. Who suffers? Let me ask you this. Here, you tell me. To justify the $13 million, who are you taking targets away from and reps away from? Goddard? Hey, your third wide receiver, he may have 10 catches this year. You're not spreading the ball around because it'll be limited throws because of the new back. So your third wide receiver and tight end, if you're Dallas Goedert, you're demanding a trade. You want out of this. They're not going to go to you. It's Barkley, Devontae, and AJ. The other guys on the team are not part of the offensive attack. How do you justify it? There is only so many throws and plays in a game. How are you justifying $13 million? Well, Barkley's got to get the ball between 15 and 20 times. That's going to be a tick up. Almost 10 carries from last year. So that's 10 more touches that are taken away from both Devontae and AJ. That's 5 less targets or touches, right? There's one football. How am I making this up? Are you a running team? Or are you a passing team? How are you using Saquon Barkley? By the way, you guys think Kellen Moore is some superstar coordinator. I don't. I don't. I think he's good. I wouldn't call him one of the better play callers in the league. How many times were you guys shitting all over him when he was in Dallas? Now all of a sudden he's an Eagle. He's the greatest play caller since Andy Reid. Give me a break, man. Try to stay focused with me. Okay? All of a sudden, Moore's a great play caller. And he's been fired 2 years in a row. But he's great. Guy's been fired 2 years in a row, but hey, we got the better one. No, you wanted Kingsbury. He wanted more power, and you know it. Okay? Now, let me ask you this here. Who suffers with Barkley now being signed? Okay? Sills doesn't understand cap space era, really. Where in the world would you know anything about cap space? Do you know anything about the new collective bargaining agreement when it comes to deferring money out with guaranteed money and dead cap money? You get to renegotiate that also, dead cap money, and defer it out. So it's not quite a stranglehold like it used to be when you had people like Clay Matthews Jr. in Los Angeles with the Rams or the Todd Gurley deals. That's why there's a new CBA on the table, dickhead. Don't talk to me about it. I'm a card-carrying NFLPA guy. I know what the cap is. Okay? They pass a letter out and send us the CBA. Every year it's negotiated. It's one of the worst deals on the planet. So before you start talking like that, I was part of the CBA. Talk to me like that. What do you know? Sit around drinking out of your sippy cup and eating your Happy Meal. Relax, guy. Relax, kid. I never said I was an expert at it. But unlike many of you who don't know how to read, I do. Clay Matthews, Barb, cost that team a lot of, hey, get this, Barb. The Todd Gurley deal, one of the reasons why there was a new collective bargaining agreement was because that Gurley deal was being paid out over like 10 years. And even when he was in Atlanta, the Rams were still paying the majority of the contract and they couldn't get away from it and the dead cap hit. Okay? Hey, Jason, sick of this dumbass. Go to a fanboy show. Go at it. Not a problem. We're not going to wave pom-poms here. You got your offense better. You didn't get your team better. Your team as of March 12th is not better. It's not better. It's not. It's not better. You know why? Your defense still blows. And you're not fixing it in the draft. You haven't had one impactful draft choice on defense in the last 3 years make an impact that was a game-changing football player. There were spurts of Carter last year. The rest of it was not. You haven't had a game-changing defensive football player in 5 years on that team. In 5 years. There's no game-changing corner. Shit, the closest thing you had to a game-changing player was Gardner Johnson, who led the NFL, but you didn't draft him. He was a free agent. Oh, no, it was a trade with the Saints. Oh, and Reddick, it was a trade. No, it was a free agent sign. You haven't drafted anybody. Get this. DRC believes that that's a defensive football team that'll get you back to the Super Bowl because they signed Saquon Barkley. How insane is that to think that a running back who has had no impact on his team whatsoever winning games? Sills, the Giants suck. I know. I watched a guy in Tennessee with the Tennessee football team that blew out loud, get a team to the AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback. Zero impact you've had in the draft. Between the Kobe Dean and Nolan Smith and some of these other guys, when are you going to look up and go, he's right? Name me one rookie you have signed in the last 3 years that has helped your football team win games. I'll wait. Especially that great 1-7 stretch. Help me out here. Yeah, DB, Carter has zero impact. He was good for a couple games. What impact did he have in that 1-7 stretch? Nothing. Zero. Everyone ran the ball on you guys like you were a turnstile at Grand Central. Everyone. Shit, the shitty Giants that you call a shitty team beat you. Think about that. You guys are saying that the Giants were shitty. They beat you with all that talent, or so-called talent, and all them Pro Bowlers. The shitty Giants beat you. And should have beat you twice. How do you justify that? How do you justify the fact that the shit Giant, Xander goes like this, Giants can't score. Giants aren't good. Don't try to justify saying that the Giants are good. They beat you. Did they not? And you were in a stretch run to try to win home field or the East. And you couldn't stop the Giants with your so-called great defense. Am I wrong? Xander's right. Sills, you're not going to sit here and tell me that the Giants are good. Or that, I know the Burnside's good and all, but that offense, they can't score 5 points. They beat you in a critical part of the season with Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor. That's how bad your defense is. Tommy DeVito and Tyrod Taylor had their way with you. Did you get better? You signed a $17 million guy as a backup. And you signed a running back, which was like the fourth need. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been addressed because you need to replace Swift. But at $13 million? When the last 2 years you've had a 1,000-yard back. And get this, I don't know, do you think this is maybe one of the few times only in the history of football that you've had two backs in a row that were Pro Bowlers, that were two different guys running behind your O-line? You think that's a testament to the players, or do you think that's a testament to the O-line? But now we got one. Yeah, because why? He played on a bad Giants team. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, I question whether or not he really played hard last year for the Giants. I mean, I question that. Why would he play hard for him? They didn't want him. They didn't even make him an offer. They were saving their money for Burns. The Giants didn't make him an offer. Isn't that crazy? The New York Giants did not make him an offer. Hey, was Barkley a factor in that last Giant win over you guys? Was Barkley, was he a factor in that game? As I don't remember. Did Barkley play? I mean, he may have. I don't remember. Did he? Giants are a terrible organization. Are you surprised? Jason, you got me there. No. No, I'm not surprised. How many rushing yards? Did he? Okay. I mean, I forget what he had. He had 2 TDs in that game. Okay. Okay. Sills, has your Bills and Cowboys got better this season? Quite frankly, Cowboys and Bills, those guys aren't making any moves because they feel they like their talent that's on their team right now. And quite frankly, the Bills are making moves right now because they can get rid of a ton of people because they have the quarterback in the room and everyone knows it. They don't really have to have a shitload of people. They have to have quality people. So Barkley had 46 yards in the Giant win over the Eagles. Okay. 46 yards, 13 million. How you doing, baby? Brian goes, Big Sills doesn't let off the gas because I want you to have a come to Jesus conversation here that the approach in the offseason so far has been stupid. You need to address that defense. And you need to address it in free agency. And you needed to address it with some quality people. You see, the Eagles don't value defense. Never have, never will. They'd rather put Band-Aids out there. And that's what they're going to do. You're not signing anybody of significance on defense. Nobody. You know it and I know it. And you're going to go into your camp. You're going to go into your draft. Everyone's going to make some sort of proclamation that Howie had a grand slam draft when you don't even know what these guys do. And he hasn't had a grand slam draft, really. Landon Dickerson draft was pretty damn good because Devontae, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was in that draft. That's a pretty good draft. Am I right when I say that, Xander? That Landon and Devontae were in that 21 draft. Is that right? Were they in that draft? Okay. Shit. That's a great draft. That's a great draft. Landon Dickerson and Devontae Smith. Offense. But hey, do Eagle fans not understand that it doesn't matter how well you run if you're getting lit up by 40? They don't understand that, my friend. They don't understand that. They think because they signed a quality football player in Barkley, their team is better. No, your offense is better. Okay? And see this guy D down here? He thinks you have a quality defense and that they're better because they signed a $17 million backup and nothing else. And the quality guys are gone. Now you're going to be signing B students. Okay? That's their MO. B and C students. Who's out there that's going to be a quality player for them to sign at the linebacker and safety position? The top flight guys are gone. So you're going to get a B or C at around $7 million. Not even. $6 million. Shit, you could have had the kid from Baltimore for 7. That was too high for him. I mean, the rest of these moves that they'll make in free agency and sitting here crowing about it because you signed Barkley and a backup is crazy. Gardner Johnson would be a good sign. I'd be in favor of that. Hey, Gay Jr., why would Gay Jr. go out there and sign with the Eagles when the Eagles will not offer $7 million for a linebacker? They're not going to do it. They're not going to. Didn't you hear the press conference? We really like Zach Cunningham. He had a great year. We believe in the Kobe, even though he's done dick here. Hey, I love that 41. Sills, you don't know? Howie shops at lateral moves or us. Oh, hey, Jordan Hicks, $4 million would have been better than BJ. That, Brian, now you're thinking, Brian. That's exactly right. Brian, that's exactly right. Brandon Graham at $4 million versus having Jordan Hicks is stupid. Absolutely correct. That's thinking. It's no indictment on Brandon Graham. But again, we're talking about farewell tours instead of Super Bowl tours. Absolutely correct. That's exactly what to think. You see, you're not in love with the players. You're in like with them. You're in love with the Eagles. Correct. Yeah, but he brings leadership. I don't care. I want players. You know how you form leadership? Winning. Leadership had no impact when you were getting your face kicked in when you went 1-7 versus some of the shittiest teams in the league. Had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do. Whoa, the leadership. Leadership. Yeah, all them great players were so in love with Nicky Sirianni. Why didn't they play harder for him when it mattered? They didn't. Now everyone's got a love fest and sitting around roasting marshmallows saying how much they love Nick, and yet they laid down for him the final 2 months of the season. That's leadership? Okay, that's meltdown ship. I'm looking for ball players. You have to have a sense of urgency here, friends. That's why I talk like this. Sitting around and waiting. Dude, no way. That you have here. You have an A offense. There is no getting around it. No getting around it. You have an F defense. And there's no getting around that. Okay? None. Hey, Xander, make sure you send that to Pat Pimmel if you could, please. Okay? For 3:30 Eastern. Oh, yeah, by the way, the Philadelphia Soul are coming back to the Philadelphia area in the Arena League. And we're going to have the brand new head football coach of that team on with us at 3:30. Mark Farzetta is going to join us at 5:30. Love the Arena League. Another football team coming to the Philadelphia area, and we so look forward to that. Talking to Pat, we look forward to seeing what the new Arena League is going to look like. So we're going to talk to Pat and get his thoughts on what the new Philadelphia Soul are going to look like. I'm going to say this, it's incoming. And we'll do that here for him. Thank you very much, Pat. And we'll move on here in a second here. Thanks, guys, for your patience. All right. So you got a new football team, and it's called the Philadelphia Soul. Hey, the Soul will win a title before the Eagles will after this recent run here. I don't know, man. That's not cool. I mean, the Eagles have a championship. They have 3, by the way. The only dynasty in Philly history, the Soul. Now, I think the Flyers, but they have 3 titles. Sills, we're not done on defensive side. Well, Steve, who's out there that you think fits the team besides Gardner Johnson? Who fits the team in your opinion? Okay. Who fit the Philadelphia Stars? Dan Cam Ward looking sharp. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a fan, but let's see what happens in September. Dan, there's a bunch of decent safety options still available. Like who? Jim, tell me who, and I'll agree or disagree. Fire up the grill, pour yourself a drink, and relax. Let's see if we still have this same conversation in a week. Okay? All kidding aside, safety or linebacker next. In what free agency? Who? Devin White got beat out in Tampa. Julian Blackmon? And please, not Justin Simmons. I don't want any more 31 and older safeties. Are you not tired of that? Okay, can London Fletcher come out of retirement? That's funny, man. Okay, that's absolutely funny. Simmons just signed with who? Please tell me it was the Eagles. Please tell me that Justin Simmons signed with the Eagles. Okay? Please tell me. A 31-year-old safety. Sidney Brown taking a step forward. I like the player. Jay goes, nobody cares what you want, Sills. Then why are you here? Are you here just to tell me nobody cares what you want? Thanks. So you got up off your bed this morning, laying next to your old lady, and thought you would send me in a chat box. You had to log on, click, find JAKIB Sports to tell me that. Winning! Winning! Please tell me that. Hey, look, I like the kid, Sidney Brown. Keely Ringo, everyone's all over him. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. These Georgia guys haven't done shit except Carter. The rest of them have been okay to bad. Okay? Right? I like Sidney Brown too, but who would he learn from with a bunch of young players? Need a vet back there. Okay? Simmons is too old. If they really signed him, I give up. Hey, Crowley, if they signed Simmons and they signed him, oh my God, garbage can signs again. Oh my God. I pray Justin Simmons is signed with the Eagles. Justin Simmons, Reed Blankenship. No confirmation on that yet. All right, Xander. Yeah, just like yesterday. We got Xavier McKinney. No, you didn't. You know why? Because the Packers we got to do that. Packers had a great day. Holy cow. They improved their running game and they improved their defense with young quality guys and they spent money. Where do you go in the draft? If I'm the Eagles, O-line, stick to what you do best, Furman. They're not good at drafting linebackers or corners or safeties. O-line, I'd stay there, especially with the first pick, or I trade out and trade into the second round. I'm afraid that they draft anybody like a linebacker or a corner. They blow at it. Get this. The Eagles get mad at me because I say Howie Roseman can't draft corners. Who's he drafted? Who has he drafted in the last 10 years that's a great corner? Who has he drafted in the last 10 years that's a great linebacker? Who has he drafted as a true, really great edge rusher in the last 10 years? No one. Why would you want him to pick again? Okay? I mean, Sills, man, come to Philly so I can grab a quick Polaroid. That's nice of you, brother. With you just so I can freaking frame it. That's really kind of you, 41. We'll make something happen, dude. Don't worry, man. Krauses love big Sills. Well, on March 12th. Hey, on March 12th. Okay? So you got to remember, I'm a taste of the day, if you get what I'm saying. Right, Xander? It just depends on what the taste of the day is. Still speaks the truth. You green Google mofos need to wake up and get your head out of the clouds. Philly boy, listen. My problem with the whole direction the first 2 days has been, why are you on your offensive side of the ball spending money on a position that's the least important position because you're not trying to run the ball anymore? Now you have to change your entire offense back around again to validate $13 million. Why in the world are you paying 20? So who's the priority now? Barkley or A.J. Brown? Where's Devontae in this? You understand there's one football. Okay? There's one football. Is the offense going through AJ or is it going through Barkley? Tone praised you on the new podcast. I love the kid. Xander loves the kid. Everyone does. Nobody that I know of doesn't like Tone. We all do. Guys, relax. Why don't you go over there and talk to the company, WIP, who just filed for bankruptcy? And then come over here when there's a decision made that is above my pay grade that I have nothing to do with. Why don't you go over there and dog them out about being in bankruptcy? I don't know what you want me to say. Okay? What happened to this guy? What happened to that guy? What happened to your company? What happened to your company? Okay? Why the hell are we getting old in the secondary 2 years in a row? Well, they haven't signed Justin Simmons just yet. Okay? Xander's waiting for the confirmation. Okay? So that's not okay. That's not confirmed yet. All right. I've got my top 10 NFC teams now. By the way, Pat Pimmel will be with us at 3:30. Brand new head football coach of the Philadelphia Soul of the brand new Arena Football League. It's rebooting. I played in that league. I thought it was hard, to say the least. That thing was hard to play in. I enjoyed it, though. Get this. I played at the MGM Grand. How's that for you, Xander? My wife and I, we lived in Vegas, and we played at the MGM Grand Ballroom, like the arena where you see all the fights. That's where we played. You would see an Oscar De La Hoya fight the next day. We would play the night before. Like we would play, I don't know, Massachusetts Marauders or somebody like that, or a Fort Worth team on a Friday night. On a Saturday, Mike Tyson would fight. And we got free tickets to go to all these things. It was really awesome, man. It was a great time. I got no room for pom-pom. Hey, holy cow, man. Bill was cheering it up today, wasn't he? Man, I was ready to run around the room and buy me a Jalen Hurts jersey. Wow, I couldn't believe all the pom-poms, man. What a great day. What a great day to be. How could you hate the move? It's not to hate the move. It's not a priority. You could have addressed that in the draft. Last 2 years, honestly, let's do this. Was running back a problem the last 2 years in the Eagle offense? You had 2 Pro Bowlers. You've had 2 Pro Bowlers. 2 guys that were named to the Pro Bowl. I didn't know running back was a problem. I didn't say it wasn't needed to be addressed. You spent the second most money in the league on his base salary for a guy who has been somewhat productive. Dude, his first year, he was great. And everyone goes back 5 years ago. You think he's better today after his knee injury? Why don't you give me those numbers post-knee? Great year 2 years ago. Gee, man, it's like talking about Jalen Hurts. That guy was great back in the day. Okay? He was great back in the day. You remember about 10 years ago? Yeah, like we were talking about Kevin Byard like that. Okay? Barkley's gonna tote that rock. Okay? 11. At whose expense? So let me get this right. 11's saying that $13 million, and he's going to be comfortable with 5 carries at 36 yards. And that justifies the money you paid him because he can block and he gets the ball 5 times a game and he catches it another 7 for another 25. So 61 yards in total offense a game justifies $13 million. Because if it gets any higher than that, Why are you extending Devontae Smith? Yeah, by the way, you might as well just put another tight end out there on the field. Dallas Goedert's a non-factor now with Barkley there. He's a non-factor. He's the blocking guy. You might as well have that guy Jack Stoll play. Okay, well, wait a minute, 11. 5 carries? How many carries are you going to give him? So are you going back to being a running team? So let me get this right. You see, me too, I'm laughing. What are you doing? So 20 carries, right? So you want Barkley to carry the ball more times than he's ever carried it in his career, 360 times. He's never carried it more than 295. You want him, an older player who's had a knee injury, to carry the ball 360 times to justify the 20 million or the 13 million. Is that right? Okay. That means someone snaps and someone's touches come down. Who is that? It's Goddard. It's Goddard. Sills, the day you stop covering my football team will be a sad one. Your honest and football intelligence is a breath of fresh air. Thanks in advance for all you do. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, man. And by the way, awesome for you to be here. You have so many other options, and I so appreciate that, okay? As you could tell, Records, there's a lot of folks in here that don't like the truth or when I say it, and I think they hate the fact that I'm not a fanboy. Oh, let me see. Eagles signed MVP punter Braden Mann. Who? Punters aren't football players. I don't give a shit. Howie Season signed a punter. Signed a punter. You signed the wrong punter. You should have signed Matt Araiza, like the Chiefs did. Hey, let me say this. Hey, Xander, think of this. So the Chiefs signed Matt Araiza, a complete field-changing special teams guy, and Chris Jones. Who's had a better offseason so far? The Chiefs or the Eagles? Anyone? Who's had a better offseason so far? The Chiefs or the Eagles? The Chiefs. The Chiefs, the world champions. They tagged their guy, Snead. They give Chris Jones that money, and they sign Matt Araiza. And you sign a mailman that's a linebacker from New Orleans, a backup $17 million edge rusher, and a running back. Hey, that defense is being addressed. This thing's looking better and better, baby. Kansas City. Holy cow. Look at what they did, man. Just making subtle moves and big money moves. Sign Chris Jones, tag Snead, and sign Matt Araiza to improve their special teams. That's all. And they're still like $27 million under the salary cap. Holy cow, Brett Veach is kicking ass once again. And they're the last team to pick in the draft. And they're going to get that speed merchant from Texas. And they're going to call him Tyreek Hill II. Hey. Woo! Howie Vision. Is Sills hating today? Hating. I'm hating the fact that you haven't addressed your defense. Yeah. Keep getting that. Keep spending the money on the wrong side of the ball. I'll tell you what I do like. I like that Cleveland Brown offense. Holy cow. How about that offense? Deshaun Watson at quarterback, Chubb at running back, Amari Cooper at receiver, Jerry Jeudy at receiver, Njoku at tight end. Patrick Queen now to the Steelers. I'll tell you what, man. That AFC North, whoo, dog. Steelers and Ravens. Good grief. Browns, that's going to be a dog. Hey, who wins that division? Who wins the North? Good night. They get Derrick Henry? He's going to be our McCaffrey. Dude, are you crazy? You think Christian McCaffrey is comparable to Saquon Barkley? Get the... Hey, Furman, one thing you have to realize, Christian McCaffrey didn't sign that contract in San Francisco. He signed it in Carolina with all those shitty players there. Okay? And once again, I'll say David Tepper's the worst owner in the league. You couldn't get a first-round pick for either Brian Burns or McCaffrey. Shows you how incompetent you are. I mean, shit, the Eagles got a first-round pick for Wentz. Saquon's got a ball. Yeah, right there with Rashad Penny. Isn't that right, Arthur? Be right there in the stable with Rashad. Arthur was a big fan, and so was all the rest of you guys. Of Rashad Penny. I told you couldn't block, can't stay healthy, and no one thinks he's good. But only you did. This is March 12th. Just can't stand to see the Eagle fans flying high. What's there to fly high about? You haven't addressed anything on defense that let you down at the end of the year. Why are you flying high? Because you addressed the position of non-need? I'm not getting it. You're missing my point. The reason I'm goofing on you is because why in the world and what in the world made you think Saquon Barkley was a number one priority? John McMullen said it, and he's right. Do you understand that, quite frankly, the Saquon Barkley was the number one priority on the first day of free agency for the Eagles? And some would go, well, wait, they gave Huff more. No. You paid a running back, something you've never done, something that your organization doesn't do, and you had a course change, and you quadrupled the amount of money that you've ever spent at that position to prioritize it. You prioritized that position. I think that's actually an indictment on Jalen Hurts. You felt that you had to spend $13 million on a position of not need? Because why? Once again, it's not that you didn't need to address the position at that price. And yet you failed to address the safety position or linebacker position. And when you do, you sign some nobody from New Orleans. Sills, it's just depth. Depth? For who? Zach Cunningham? Get this. You know what people are saying on my Twitter page? Go to it. At Dan Sileo Show. You know what they're saying? Hey, moron, this was a depth sign. For who? Zach Cunningham and Nakobe Dean? Those are your starters? You signed that guy for depth behind those guys? Championship football teams are made right now with decisions that you're making. You learned a lesson already, haven't you? When Howie tried to put Band-Aids on the shit during the season, it was a colossal failure. You're going right down that road again. Gotcha. Yeah, hey, Barb's right. Barb. There you got old BG there, man. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire with BG. That'll be a new podcast. That would be put up on Twitter on the Eagle Twitter page. Don't worry. We'll be all right. Same group so far. And you're shopping Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick. Hey, this is thank you. Sills is emotional. Hey, congratulations, Ty. Tell me something I don't know. Tell me something I don't know. I'm emotional about things, and I'm passionate about things I like. And I'm passionate about things that I know because I've been around a little bit, and I've been around some of the greatest winners of all time. That's not winning football so far. Keep Reddick, trade Sweat. Sweat's your best down lineman. Why would you trade your best down lineman? He's your best player. In your front four, he's your best complete player. He's a 3-down guy. And you're going to trade Reddick. Okay? You want to keep Reddick. Reddick and the other guy can't play to run. So you're going to have two dudes that can't play to run. It's day 2, and the Eagles already have one free agency, according to Philly media, Bill. Big Bill! You got to love that guy, man. I'll tell you what, I get fired up when I hear him. I want to go out and buy myself an Eagle hat when I hear that, man. I do, man. Shit, I want to go to Wawa and get me an Eagle hat. Makes me feel great, man. I was like, hey, man, that's happy shit there. It's all good. All right. Pat Pimmel, the brand new head football coach of the Philadelphia Soul, is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Farzi's going to join us. Mark Farzetta at 5:30 Eastern. I'm going to give you my top 10 NFC teams as of March 12th. Where do the Eagles fly? We'll do that next. Keep it here, National Football Show.